ala baraka bake jali ala baraka jërëjëf Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Honorable Minister of Tourism and Culture. To all Gambians viewing from home, both in the Gambia and also those in the diaspora, may I take this opportunity to wish each and every Gambian a happy Independence Anniversary. As you will recall, on the 18th of February, on Tuesday, 2025, we celebrated 60 years of statehood. A great achievement. At a time when we had independence in 65, due to our size and population and our resources or lack thereof, a lot of people thought we will not survive as a nation. Berkeley Rice, an American anthropologist, wrote a book at that time and called our nation the birth of an improbable nation. We defied the odds, and we survived, and we existed, and we thrived. Today, we pride ourselves as a thriving, democratic, stable, secure, and peaceful nation. We thank everyone, past leaders and present leaders, the past generation and present generation, for the hard work and the perseverance and the belief we had in ourselves to make this country a great nation. So happy Independence Anniversary to you all. Members of the press, members of the public, senior government officials here present today, the Minister of Higher Education, Science, Research and Technology, Professor Pierre Gomez, Secretary of Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service, Mr. Aliu Njai, the PS, Minister of Information, the Director General of the Department of Information Services, all senior government officials, students from the Gambia Hotel School, and everybody here present today. We have a special guest. Our guest today is the Minister in charge of Tourism and Culture, who is our guest for this week's Mansa Kunda. Now, why is he a special guest? Because he is overseeing a ministry whose life is intertwined with the life of the nation. If you know, those of you who know the history of tourism in this country, you would know that tourism started in the 60s in this country. The very time the nation was born, we became an independent state. So tourism and Gambia go together. Therefore, it's overseeing a very important ministry. A ministry that contributes a lot, not only to GDP, but also to employment creation in this country. So today we have a special guest who we invite to come and grace this week's ministerial Mansa Kunda. Now, the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services organizing the Mansa Kunda as part of our mandate to disseminate and promote and popularize government agenda in terms of the programs and projects undertaken by the government. Our mandate is to provide the public with authentic, reliable, relevant, and truthful information. And this part of the initiatives we have, apart from the other initiatives, is the Ministerial Mansa Kunda, where every 2 weeks we bring a sector minister and his whole team to come and face the public and interface and exchange ideas. But also, the public has the chance to ask relevant questions about how the sector is being run, the vision of the minister and his team, but also the programs and projects that are currently ongoing. The minister is also given the chance to discuss his bold vision for the sector, the achievements of the sector, but also the challenges that they face. So today we have a very important minister, a very important sector, Honorable Abdul Job and his entire team. I will not introduce his team, even though I know them. I would give them the chance to do that when the time comes. They will tell us their name, designation, but also their function within the sector. Mbokk yi maa ngi leen a nuyu bu baax a baax di leen dalal si Mansa Kunda, ministerial Mansa Kunda bi. Di leen wane nag Mansa Kunda, Ministry of Information ñoo ko oote pour ministre bu nekk sa secteur ñëw waxtaan ak askan wi nga wax askan wi sa mbébét sa éene ak sa pexe ak ni nga bëgg a doxalee sa ministre ak naka nga ko doxalee. Te nag am nañ gan bu maaga nag ministre bi nga xam ne moo saytu ministry bi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo amee wàllu gani tubaab yi fi dee ñëw ak aar bi ak aada bi. Honorable Abdou Diop mooy suñ gan bi tey di ko nuyu bu baax a baax a baax di nuyu képp koo xam ne yaa ngi ñoo seetaan tey ndax yaa ngi Gambia fii ndax bitim réew waaye nag di jiital nuyu njiiti réew mi mooy His Excellency Adama Barrow di ko nuyu bu baax a baax ak jobootam ak nguuram bi yépp di wane nag ndokkal leen ko si independence bi nga xam ne tey Gambia am nañ juróom-benn fukki at depuis buñ nekkee réew gis nañ ñu ngi ko doon celebrate bu yàggut nii kon tey waxtaan bi dina am solo programme bi soo gisee ñu organise ko pour askan bi am jàkkaarloo ak ministre bi am ñi nga xam ne lañ bëgg xam naka la moo doxalee secteur bi ngeen laaj ko moom tam mu wax leen naka la moo doxalee secteur bi ak lan la am la moo éeneem pour secteur bi kon tey waxtaan bi dina am solo torop mbaɗigol mbal kontonna mbal tentola mbal jeela mil bi jambi senior government official sol surtout minister mil ben fe ñoo jambi wala professor Per Gomesti and secretary cabinet Mr. Aliou Ndiaye head of civil service and PS minister of information afanam bi janne bi and director mimbe maraling department of information service la as a divis fanam bi janne bi and Mansa Kunda do kulal mi yalan ko bele bi jambi na luntam ba wala minister of tourism wala mutubabol mi yalan kana lunta ala Gambia ani mimbe marni ado fananna wala honorable Abdou Diop ala do ko ñol bijam bi kana enim banko dingol si kacha mu kacha sifa asa falie ak mun do ko sifalla anum fanan munala ferolti pour kaje ko abe settominto ay tama banko dingol fanan sa nyininka abe mun do kulla isara miro faye anim fanan kullo mi yalon ko la jahal kulti oɗon mba tentola mba jeya mil maɓe jam mbi ani mi yalon ko ɓen juɓe kanne ka bo suwokono gambe jang ani bantala bankun kan ka faale happy independence anniversary mbenga kalamuta ko talata lungo nga jural bake Gambia birim banko e sanji tan woro soto wala 60 years of independence kabri ngam fan soto comme tolon bankoti kaben tuwabo le bankoti na kon tol fanga le nyanda kan fam mara nga sanji taw woro soto sanyi oɗon mba fulale ko happy independence anniversary ndela kata du buka me bake bawo bi manken tegla lungoti ndela do ko lon kaaje ko ka cool facilitate woto nadia mote siala bake bare jali janding be documentary jubera miniti lulu isin so masane sela juro do mon lindron kono lun tangol ka fo ko ke welcome jali video mbela mola la The format of the program is as usual. We play a 5-minute documentary of the sector to highlight key achievements of the sector. Then we'll give the minister at least 15 to 20 minutes to give his opening remarks. Then we'll give each one of his team members to introduce themselves, their designation and also their function, 3-4 minutes each. Then we'll open the floor for question and answers. Konka Kenya Mendrong, dandimbe programme commencé la mbe documenti jibe la fiminding miniti lulu ka tandi menebe kekang sector nyinto nimbata je minister nying si miniti mwande la panansi kacha anim banku dingor asafa mundo kusi falla nimbata je fana la do kunyo anim be silo ka wol fana miniti nani isafa nye tool aning mune itola do koti sector nyinto nimbata je sina kacha damuta momo nyinin karo soto isi nyinin karo ke minister na la timo sa jabi comme niñ ko defee rek saa yu nekk waxtaan ni lañ ko teralee mooy nañ seetaan benn film bu na documentary juróomi minute pour ñu won ñu lan moo nekk di xew si secteur bi lu fa xew nag bari na mënut a xëy si juróomi minute waaye ñi nga xam ne moo gën a fés nañ leen ko won suñ fa jógee ministre nañ ko may 20 minutes mu joxe kàddoom su loolu weesoo nag ñu bàyyi ñim àndal ku nekk ñu mel la 9 minutes nga wax ñu sa tur ak sa liggéey si sa secteur bi su loolu weesoo nag ñu ñëw ibi waxtaan gi pour képp ko am ne am nga loo bëgg a laaj ministre ak teamam bi nga laaj leen ñu mun laa tontu kon balaa ñoo mën a oo ministre bi fii mu ñëw waxtaan ak ñun suñ mënee am 5 minutes documentary bi jërëjëf.
The Gambia a country where natural beauty meets rich cultural heritage. The Ministry of Tourism and Culture stands as the guardian of our traditions and a visionary for sustainable tourism. Today, we dive into the heart of this ministry and its role in safeguarding the Gambia's heritage while promoting a thriving tourism industry. We speak to the Permanent Secretary for an in-depth look at the ministry's mandate, guiding policies, and the future aspirations for Gambian tourism and culture.
The primary mandate of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture is to provide overall leadership, formulate policies, strategies, and plans for tourism, culture, and hospitality development. As per its vision, the sector wants to ensure that by 2031, the Gambia, with its friendly, hospitable people, unique flora and fauna, and the majestic River Gambia, is a prime destination of choice for a sustainable and responsible tourism that encompasses valued experiences of natural and cultural heritage, wellness, quality, products and services.
The Gambia Tourism Board, GTB, plays a pivotal role in shaping and marketing the Gambia as a premier travel destination. We meet with the GTB Director General to understand the board's approach to sustainable tourism development and community involvement.
Tourism should benefit Gambians and also the travelers that come to enjoy what Gambia has to offer. First thing that we do is to make sure that whatever we are going to offer to our tourists is up to standard. And we do that by giving some form of education and training to our Gambians that are engaged in tourism to make sure that whatever they are going to give to the tourists is expected by the tourists. Marketing is an outside-in concept, and you have to know what your guests want to be able to give them what they want. Everybody should see him or herself in tourism, because tourism's benefit does not stop with government alone, does not stop with hoteliers alone, does not stop with the Gambia Tourism Board, but it cuts across the life of every Gambian and every person residing in the country.
Building a skilled workforce is key to the future of Gambian tourism. The Gambian Tourism and Hospitality Institute is preparing young Gambians. The Gambia, a country where natural beauty meets rich cultural heritage. The Ministry of Tourism and Culture stands as the guardian of our traditions and a visionary for sustainable tourism. Today, we dive into the heart of this ministry and its role in safeguarding the Gambia's heritage while promoting a thriving tourism industry. We speak to the Permanent Secretary for an in-depth look at the ministry's mandate, guiding policies, and the future aspirations for Gambian tourism and culture.
The primary mandate of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture is to provide overall leadership, formulate policies, strategies, and plans for tourism, culture, and hospitality development. As per its vision, the sector wants to ensure that by 2031, the Gambia, with its friendly, hospitable people, unique flora and fauna, and the majestic River Gambia, is a prime destination of choice for a sustainable and responsible tourism that encompasses valued experiences of natural and cultural heritage, wellness, quality, products and services.
The Gambia Tourism Board, GTB, plays a pivotal role in shaping and marketing the Gambia as a premier travel destination. We meet with the GTB Director General to understand the board's approach to sustainable tourism development and community involvement.
Tourism should benefit Gambians and also the travelers that come to enjoy what Gambia has to offer. First thing that we do is to make sure that whatever we are going to offer to our tourists is up to standard. And we do that by giving some form of education and training to our Gambians that are engaged in tourism to make sure that whatever they are going to give to the tourists is expected by the tourists. Marketing is an outside-in concept, and you have to know what your guest wants to be able to give them what they want. Everybody should see him or herself in tourism, because tourism's benefit does not stop with government alone, does not stop with hoteliers alone, does not stop with the Gambia Tourism Board, but it cuts across the life of every Gambian and every person residing in the country.
Building a skilled workforce is key to the future of Gambian tourism. The Gambian Tourism and Hospitality Institute is preparing young Gambians for successful careers in the tourism industry.
The Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute is an offshoot of what used to be the Gambia Hotel School, and its core mandate is to provide the human capacity needs of the Gambia as a tourist destination. It has helped in training many young people that are currently working in the various positions across the country.
I studied food and beverage, which is F&B, and that area of studies has impacted my life a while, both national and international. When I finished my studies, I was employed by GTHI. Now we are working with the international company called Cruise Ship Crew Gambia, all thanks to GTHI, because they are the one who impacted those knowledge on me in order to showcase my skills internationally.
Currently, I'm on holiday in Gambia, but I work in Kuwait, focusing on the family service. My experience started from GTHI. They capacitate me and build me. Whatever you learn in GTHI, it is international. That's why most of us who are in the Gambia, whenever we go to, outside the world, we express ourselves and we can able to do more than those who are in that particular countries. Because for us, we deliver the service, and we deliver 100% of service.
Student la woon Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute 2022 si la am wërsëgi liggéey si cruise ship bi moo nekk gaal yu mag yi yoo xam ne dañuy wóor àdduna bi yëpp. GTHI lépp lu ñu jàngal fii nii bu ñu demee foofu noonu dafa yomba, dafa mel ni lu la gaay waxoon si biir classe bi rek boo eggee foofu noonu loolu rek nga nekkoon di gis. Fu mu nekk nii ñu ngi gën a sant yàlla gannaaw GTHI lu ñu def si ñun. Fu mu nekk mun nañoo toog ñu ne alhamdulillah. Lu ma nekk di am pour wax xale yu góor ndaw yi moo nekk jàngate duy weesu sakatuma jàng boo xam ne métier la dafa am solo trop te métier mooy yóbbu àdduna. Fu mu nekk boo jógee fii nga dem beneen dëkk wala yeneen place yooyu mënti dem métier la gaay di gën a xool. Su fekkoon ne ñun suñu maase wala man suma bopp amu woon métier fooguma woon dina am wërsëg yi dem liggéey si gaal.
The cruise ship companies coming to the Gambia to get their staff. If that is happening now, it means that there is an institution that is providing required training that is needed by those international recruitment agents.
Preserving culture is essential to maintaining a nation's identity. The National Center for Arts and Culture, NCAC, is at the heart of preserving Gambian heritage and traditions.
We manage over 1,000 heritage sites and monuments and museums spread throughout the country. They vary in levels, like the stone circles of Senegambia, Kunta Kinte Island, Fort Bullen and related sites. Some of the sites also are community sites, like Kachikali Crocodile Pool in Bakau. The creative sector is the new gold mine for the Gambia. The NCAC is ready to work with and partner with the players in the sector and also with the private sector, with donors, to make sure that there is investment into the sector so that the youth will continue to have hope that the sector can generate employment, can give them decent livelihoods, and also contribute to building a Gambian identity and also promote social cohesion.
Diversifying tourism offerings and enhancing resilience are crucial for the Gambia's tourism sector. The Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project aims to make Gambian tourism more inclusive and adaptive to global changes.
The Tourism Diversification and Resilience in the Gambia project, or known in short as the TDR project, is funded by the World Bank through an IDA grant of $68 million for 5 years. It started in 2022 and it will end in 2027. This project is going to impact local communities in a number of ways. One of the deliverables of the project, which we have already completed, is a comprehensive assessment of all tourism sites across the Gambia. In that regard, the TDR project already has a tangible product which we can use to enhance and community participation and community empowerment in tourism across the Gambia.
The Ministry of Tourism and Culture, with its agencies and projects, strives to make the Gambia a place where tradition and innovation create a brighter future. With each initiative, it ensures that the spirit of the Gambia is preserved, shared, and celebrated around the world. This is brought to you by the Ministry of Information as part of its public consultation and popularization of the government agenda initiatives.
I think you would all agree with me that there is no doubt that the Gambia is the most beautiful country in the world. And I'm not surprised that in 2019, we won the Golden Sun Award as the best tourism destination in the world in Germany. I think you can attest to that fact. Now, we have our guest, the big guest, Honorable Minister Abdou Job, to deliver his address. Thank you. Oh, before I go, we have another minister in our midst, Honorable Minister Babukar Boy, Minister of Public Service. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, Honorable Minister. I hope I'll be able to fit your shoes. Good evening to all of you listeners and everyone that is present here and those that are watching us online. Honorable Minister of Information, thank you for the invitation. Prof, Honorable Boy, Secretary to Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service, permanent secretaries that are present here, the staff of the agencies that are under the ministry. Thank you for coming. First of all, before I do my presentation, I would like to just thank my team, my formidable team, led by Kodu Jabang. I must say that it is indeed a pleasure to work and have a permanent secretary who is a lady and a woman and providing that leadership and that motherly role in the ministry. So we thank her for the leadership. And also we have DG Cisse, NCSC, DG Camera, of the Gambia Tourism Board, as well as DG Singate. Already the PS has touched on the mandate of the ministry, which I will just brush through. We focus to provide overall leadership, formulate policies and strategies, plans, overseeing and promoting the country's tourism industry, cultural heritage, artistic expression, and hospitality development. The ministry, as you have seen, has 3 satellite institutions under our purview, and this is the Gambia Tourism Board, the National Center for Arts and Culture, and the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute. These are, the GT Board was established by an Act of Parliament in 2011, taking over from the Gambia Tourism Authority, and basically is responsible for the coordination, administration, and marketing of tourism in the Gambia and for connected matters. But I'll leave the DG to expand on the roles and responsibility of the GT Board. Equally, the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute was also established by an Act of Parliament, and we are to serve as a center of excellence in tourism human resource development. And you can see in the presentation the quality skills development that they have been able to provide and giving young Gambians the opportunity to be able to work outside of the country. And this is a huge, huge achievement. We also, the details, he will expand on them. The National Center for Arts and Culture is led by an infatigable person who loves what he does in arts and culture, and that is Mr. Cisse. He is a household, he is a knowledge reservoir, and the mandate of the center is to preserve, promote, and develop Gambian arts and culture. Without culture, we are nothing. So an NCAC is a semi-autonomous entity under the ministry. Now, the ministry under my leadership, since I took over, I have adopted very proactive guiding principles, to help us to improve and boost tourism sector, enhance and promote cultural heritage, and also contribute to the economic development of the country in a sustainable and inclusive manner. One of the first things that I took as a minister is to have an open, inclusive, consultative, and participatory framework, ensuring that, taking note of the fact that the ministry's role is facilitatory, and it is the sector players that make things happen. And we have opened that door. And I think we have started to see the results of this approach. Also, is to have a sustainable tourism development that creates a framework for sustainable tourism in the country. Also, cultural preservation and promotion, protection. Tourism infrastructure development, capacity building and skills development, public-private partnership, diversification of the tourism product. And you've seen already the Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project and the good work that Mr. Sise and his team are doing. Digitalization, transformation, and marketing. These are areas in today's age we have to be able to use the benefit of the internet to try to promote and market our destination so that we continue to be the destination of choice. Promotion of local entrepreneurship. In our project, we have already under the Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project, we have a component which is the MSME. And already we have about 62 MSME that are being capacitized and will be provided with grant funding to support their businesses relating to tourism. We also have a project which has also started, which is the Youth Empowerment Project, Tourism and Creative Art, which also aims to capacitize and build sustainable development within the country. Tourism data collection. We need to be able to have reliable, timely data to enable us to help in planning. Now, what have we been doing in the ministry since I took over? I think we have, in the process of finalizing the tourism policy and strategy, which will include the costed investment plan. The PS will go into the details, and donor mapping, so that we are supported to try to find who will be able to finance our investment. As I said, the Youth Empowerment Project, which has just started, is a collaborative effort between the government and the EU. Our objective of this project is to contribute to the inclusive and sustainability of the Gambia's tourism sector and creative art. It's a 10 million euro. The implementing agency is ITC, and the lead entity is the ministry under the leadership of the permanent secretary. Partner ministry is the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Employment, and Regional Integration and Employment. And it's a 5-year project. It has specific objectives to improve business environment and institutional ecosystem for tourism and the creative industries relating to the creative sector that the Director General of the NCAC mentioned earlier. Improve investment, market access, and also increase competitiveness. The direct beneficiary of this project will be women and youth and MSME. So right now, we also, this year, for the first time, or last year, 2024-2025, we had an intense and engaging preparatory work for the season. And this was led by the Vice President to make sure that all the sectors were involved in preparing the country for this tourist season. And already we have seen the increased arrivals in the country because of this involvement and this engagement with everybody. Now, we also, prior to that, started a a stakeholder consultation where we brought all the key stakeholders in the sector in a forum to ask them, what is it that you want the ministry to do? And we took up a lot of ideas, a lot of criticism, a lot of challenges that they mentioned, and this is what is guiding sort of a roadmap to try to improve and enhance the tourism sector. Beach cleaning. When I took over, you would have seen that the beach was in tatters, all kinds of mess. Today you go to the beach because this is what we are selling, sun, sea, and sand at this present time. But we are looking forward to develop, to expand and diversify our product. But right now, this is what we have. So we have to make sure that that is in pristine condition. And we were able to clean the beach. If you go today to the beach is as clean as you can get. And GT Board has employed women, empowering also women to be able to clean the beach on a daily basis, morning and night. Security-wise, the TSU, the Tourism Security Units, has been enhanced. They are doing more patrols so that the harassments that take place within the tourism sector or the tourism development area is minimized. We've also sanitized the area. All these, shacks that were there, shanty towns within the facility, all have been demolished. Because we cannot promote this country, market this country, and have within the tourism sector people that go and just dodge corrugate and all of these things, and trying to tarnish the image of this country. And this has been done in a very consultative, participatory manner, talking to people that this is not what you should do. This is what you should do. Engage them. Now, if we engage you and they're not prepared to do, then we enforce. But it was an engagement before enforcement. And if you go there today, most of the things that were tarnishing the image of this country has been able to solve. The next thing, this year, we have, for the first time for so many years, we have now re-engaged with the Nordic countries. Because this is an area that we have lost, and they were the ones that started the tourism sector, tourism industry in this country. We lost it, and through engagement, GT Board, the permanent secretary, before even my arrival at the ministry, we've been able to get them back. And I think since then, is it one flight a week or 2 flights a week? About 160 packs every week since the beginning of the season. We're having tourists from Scandinavia. And this is a huge achievement. It's work in progress that we are doing to make sure that we regain this market. Now, the regional tourism, as you can see, we are rolling out regional tourism. And also, we engage to try to diversify within the region, non-traditional markets. Go to Nigeria. We went on an outreach mission in Nigeria, in Senegal, to try to enhance those numbers coming into the Gambia, so that our reliance on, Europeans, can be, also complemented by these things. And this was done in partnership with other agencies in the country. You've seen here, we've also trying to enhance our cooperation with Senegal for Colonie de Vacances. This is something that we're doing. Already, what we did in Nigeria, we have seen inflows into Nigeria. I think there was another airline that started from Nigeria. Am I right? So all of these things. So also the domestic tourism promotion is something that we are doing. We're trying to, right now you have a bridge hotel in Pakalinding, which is also part of the efforts to try to help and develop the local tourism. Legislation, there are a lot of legislative framework or conventions that the ministry, with the support of the NCAC, has also ratified. Also, in terms of the hospitality, we are, for the GTHI, as you have seen, we're expanding the facility. The Spanish foreign minister visited this country, and because they supported the GTHI some years back to expand and renovate the place. They're willing to come and expand the facility. We're looking at opportunities to build a hotel, school sort of, CISE can expand on that. is a training hotel school of, for example, 30 beds, so that the youths that are being trained will have an opportunity to be able to have hands-on practice within the facility. Because this is something that the hoteliers complain about, the level of capacity, and also they've revived their curriculum, so that it makes it more up-to-date. So this is something that CISE will also expand on. I think the diversification project that you heard Mr. CISE talked about, 68 million, 5 years period, 3 components, which is the policy framework, the infrastructure, which is trying to restore, Kunta Kinte Island, because these are one of our, heritage sites, and we need to do something about it, and this project is going to do something about it to restore it. Similarly, the coastal protection here, which is called the West Coast, from Kotu to, this morning, the supervision mission of the bank was in the office to update exit meeting, so that there are 3 options that have been identified, and the most plausible option have been identified already. So they are doing deep engineering, detailed design to be able to know how long things are going to be done and how much it's going to cost. As you said, cruise ship. This year alone, we had inflow of cruise ships. And this is an area that we are trying to develop new strategy in partnership with GT Board to see how we can make the Gambia a cruise ship tourism destination of choice. And this we are going to do in partnership with all relevant stakeholders. The other point is we normally have off-season. We are working with a Spanish tour operator, with other Gambia ground tour operators. We met in Spain to try to close the gap during what is called the off-season. We are hopeful that this year, starting June, Spanish and Portuguese tourists will come to fill that gap, so that we will continue to have tourists and the hotels will be occupied. Collaboration with the Heritage Management Organization. We also had a very good meeting today with the HMO in my office. And I was pleasantly surprised of the amount of work they have done to list all the intangible heritage sites in the country and the development of an interactive map that people can use to be able to know the heritage sites in this country. So thank you, Mr. Cisse and the team. So for us, in conclusion, it is imperative to note that the tourism has emerged as one of the success stories of the Gambia, the national development endeavors, and a major driver of the economy and employment creation. Not only does it contribute immensely to employment, but it also overall wealth generation for national development. Tourism is a cross-cutting sector which could affect by lots of other sectors, such as agriculture, environment, security, etc. Therefore, its success is not only solely on the ministry, but the collaborative effort of many of us. So the ministry will continue to work tirelessly and in an inclusive manner to ensure that the sector continues to act as an engine of growth to the Gambia's economy. Tourism, for me, is everybody's business, and culture defines who we are. We solicit your continued support. Thank you. Jërëjëf Dr. Cissé, jëwriñ bi amee wàllu tas xibaar yi ak suma naataango yi toog fii yëpp muy Minister Professor Paul Pierre Gomez, Babukar Boy, Honorable Babukar Boy, Secretary to Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service Permanent Secretary and Governor of West Coast Region, the Deputy Secretary to Cabinet. Nico Minister Ismaila Cissé waxee tey ñun ñoo fi ñëw ministre bi nga xam ne moo amee wàllu tourisme aar bi aada ak cosaan so dañ ñëwoon pour wax leen lan lañ dee liggéey fi ma commencé suma waxtaan mooy ne ministre bi moom mooy banxaas bi ci kaw moo dee develop policy joxe yoon bi ñu war a jël pour culture yi tourisme ak aar bi fan la war a dem ak fuñ bugga mu egga ministre bi dafa am ñetti yeneen institution yeneen banxaas ñu nekk ci ron ministre bi muy Gambia Tourism Board nga xam ne Aboubacar Camara moom mooy nekk ci kaw ba pare nga am Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute moom place yi jàngale la pour jàngal xale yi pour ñu xam naka la ñoo toogee naka la ñoo liggéey ci biir hôtel yi et cetera ak ci yeneen cruise ship yi fépp foo xam ne yaa ngi fa just def yëfi lekk ak yëfi service so Mr. DG Singate moom mooy kii head foofu dem ba pare nga am wàllu aada ak cosaan am naa ne ñu bari xam nañ Hassan moom is a household name lim xam moom ci aada ak cosaan ak aar moom macha allah di ko ñaanal yàlla gën a dëgëral taxawaayam now bi ma expliqué dama doon expliqué nga xam ne man bi ma ñëwee ci ministre bi jéego yi nga xam ne moom laa taxawee ba pare moom laa jël muy ne li ma njëkkaa def mooy ne dama gëm ne ministre bi dafa war a ubbeeku dafa war a boot ñëpp su ko defee ñun li ñoo def suñ liggéey mooy ne pour tracer yoon wi waaye ñi nga xam ne ñooy génnee seen xaalis di def investment ñooñu ñoo gën a am solo ñun ñi nekk ci ministre bi so an loolu lu ma gëm la bi ma ñëwee ma door di ubbi waxtaan ak ñoom laaj leen ku ci nekk lan mooy sa xalaat fan nga yaakaar ne mooy problème bi fan mooy métti fan lañ war a saafara waaye bi ñu waxtaanee li ma wax nag lu leer la dama ne waxuma ne mun naa solve problème yi yëpp waaye lépp loon ñu wax dinañ góorgóorlu pour saafara ko li nga xam ne mun nañ ko solve at the level of agencies yi dinañ ko solve li nga xam ne mun naa ko solve at my level dinaa ko solve li nga xam ne munuma ko solve ci my level dinaa ko ekkati ba ci kaw ba fi nga xam ne ni ko anglais day waxee foofu la bokk bi stop waaye dinañ jéem pour transform the sector so mu am ay banxaas yoo xam ne moom lañ toftal ci suñ responsibility as a ministry mooy yëfi xarala yu ees yi naka lañ koy usee yëfi pour yaatal yëfi tourisme bi pour mu bañ a nekk rek dem ci géej gi naaj bi ak beach bi su ko defee ñu am beneen product boo xam ne tubaab bi suñ ñëwee dina am leneen loo xam ne moo leen a gën a itteel interest pour ñu dem gis ko so loolu leen yëpp ci tànk yooyu lañ nekk so ma explain tamit ay policy yi nga xam ne moom mooy ñoo dimbale pour ñu mun a develop secteur bi fan lañ ci toolu PS dina ci continuer gën a xóotal loolu ak yeneen projet yi nga xam ne moom lañ nekk di def pour dimbale tourism sector bi pour mu dem kanam ma won ne am na ñaari projet yoo xam ne yu am solo yu ñoo def benn bi mu ngi tudda tourism diversification and resilient project loolu li ko indi mooy pour seetre tourisme bi fii lan lañ ci mun a gën a yaatal bi nga ko xóotal su ko defee ñu toog ci wàllu policy ñu wax ci yëfi yenn liggéey yu ñu war a def muy Kunta Kinte Island nga xam ne is one of our heritage sites mu ngi daf doon yaaxu géej gaa ngi koo lekka so projet bi dafa jóg pour defar foofu ba pare géej gi fii nga xam ne climate change mu ngi affect this coastal area bi this is an other area boo xam ne projet bi tamit mu ngi def liggéey loolu is construction work waaye li xew mooy am na options yoo xam ne moom la consultant bi présent and ñu ngi seet pour gën a xóotal liggéey bi so ma wane loolu at youth empowerment project bi nga xam ne wàllu tourisme la at wàllu aada at cosaan bi nga xam ne moom moo nekk ci ron xaasum waaye PS dina gën a moom mooy xeet yi kuréel giñ tëral pour mu seet liggéey boobu nga xam ne projet bi moom la nekk di def so basically docteur loolu la am pour wax jërëjëf.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that wonderful presentation. I think everybody will agree with me that we are witnessing a significant transformation of the tourism sector. In fact, I don't believe anymore that our tourism is seasonal anymore. I think we are now around the year tourism because I move around a lot, and when I go to hotels during the so-called off-season, I've seen that most hotels are busy with regional tourists from Senegal, Nigeria, and other countries as well. So we're happy that this is happening, and also the culture aspect also is also good. And I'm happy that today you brought us the Jali, and thank you for the wonderful paintings as well. This shows that your sector and also the books written by Gambians. And also promoting not only tourism, but also you are promoting creative industries as well. So thank you very much. Now, I'll give 4 minutes to each and every one of you. The fortunate thing is that we have 2 CCs and 1 camera on the high table, and that is good. So we'll start with the 1 CC, Hasum. You can speak in any language. You don't have to be in English. Oh, PS goes first. Okay, we'll start with PS. PS, you don't have to speak in English. You can do it in any language. But before we move, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Governor of West Coast Region, who is here with us as well. Governor, thank you very much for coming. And also the Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. Loom. Thank you for coming as well.
Thank you very much, Honorable Cisse. It's a pleasure to be in the midst of these very important and dedicated co-workers that we have. I have Hasum, the Honorable Abubakar Kamara, and Momodu Singate, who have been formidable colleagues to work with. They have been very much committed to seeing that every single task that the ministry assigns to them is basically realized and on time. So we're very grateful to them. And of course, under the leadership of Honorable Abdou Joe, we are also very much on track in providing the necessary and required objectives that the Ministry of Tourism and Culture seeks to achieve by 2031. I am Kodu Jaba, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism and Culture. I basically provide the overall leadership and guidance to the ministry. I am also responsible for policy formulation and implementation, as well as the day-to-day administration of the ministry. I would want to quickly, as earlier introduced by the minister, to run you through the new national tourism policy and strategy that we are currently upgrading and updating 2023-2031. It has basically been developed to replace the one that elapsed more than 2 decades ago, which was the Gambia Tourism Policy 1995 to 2000. The National Tourism Policy basically recognizes that the industry requires a paradigm shift to better serve the country, including undertaking demand-led product development, increasing linkages with other sectors, improving air and sea access for tourists, fostering domestic tourism, and increasing the impact in terms of revenue generation, employment, and to make tourism a more people-centered and a culturally focused venture. I don't need to delve into the vision. I think I had presented during the documentary that was viewed earlier on. Basically, the goal of the policy is to enable private sector-led tourism by ensuring that the regulatory environments in the Gambia support the innovation and growth required to transform tourism to a competitive, environmentally sustainable, and high value that enhances contribution to the economy, livelihood, security, and returns on investments. So in line with the vision, goals, and objectives of the policy, the government and stakeholders within the tourism sector have identified 5 key pillars, or usually called thematic clusters, and they include a post-COVID-19 recovery of the tourism sector, legislation, institutions and human resources, tourism products and services, marketing, market development and promotion, and ensuring quality, and supporting, of course, cross-cutting issues or measures that run between the various sectors in government. So to ensure that the new policy does not suffer from implementation bottlenecks, as the previous sectoral policies did, the governance structure of this new and updated policy, which we're working on as a ministry, would guide the implementation of all this and set aside policy areas. To this end, a National Tourism Council, for example, and various other working groups will be established to ensure that there's this oversight and joint implementation of the NTPS. The National Development Plan 2023-2027 recognizes tourism as one of the country's main economic sectors and sources of income. So it positions the sector under a microeconomic stability and inclusive growth pillar. So the plan basically highlights the narrow market, limited product diversification skills, gaps, and inadequate policy coordination and implementation as key constraints limiting the growth and development of the sector. So the NDP, therefore, in line with what the policy would eventually present, aims to create a diversified and competitive tourism tech sector for sustainable growth and employment creation. So to achieve this, basically, the NDP would have interventions such as legislation, institutions, and human resources, measures to include regulatory and institutional reform to improve the environment and policy coherence, as well as investment in human capital development. There would also be priority given to tourism products and services, as well as marketing, market development, promotion, and ensuring quality. There would also be priority given to supporting and cross-cutting measures, which include air access, travel facilitation, financing, and investment, infrastructure, tourism security, statistics, data, environment and climate change, as well as media and communication. So basically, I've summed up, I hope in 4 minutes, of what this new policy seeks to achieve by 2031. Thank you.
Thank you, PS. Do we have mics with the... Okay, so I think, Mr. Cisse, you can just quickly, your name, designation, and then just briefly what you do, just briefly,
Thank you
so that we can,
thank you very much. They misspelled my name in the documentary. It's Hassoum Cisse, H-A-S-S-O-U-M. I'm Director General, National Center for Arts and Culture. Yes, thank you. Well, we promote, I will speak in English today. Like Honorable Minister said, promote, okay, preserve and interpret culture, history, arts and heritage. That's what the NCC Act charges us to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, good evening, honorable ministers here present, permanent secretaries here present, colleagues, head of the government departments, the media, PS, the press, online, TV, etc. My name is Abubakar S. Kamara. I am the Director General of the Gambia Tourism Board. Basically, as the minister and the PS had already highlighted, the Gambia Tourism Board is, as per the Duty Board Act, is supposed to promote Destination Gambia as a leading tourist destination in the world. We've been doing that using different strategies as per the Recovery Focus or URIWA National Development Plan, and as well as the already existing national tourism policies. As we speak now, we've been doing a lot of work in terms of promoting or making sure that the target that has been set by government for us to make sure that by 2027 we have about 500,000 tourists. We have been doing so through employing so many strategies. One of it is about outreach missions to go and meet our partners, as well as airlines, tour operators, and all other people that are interested in coming to Destination Gambia to discuss with them with possibilities of making them, to make Gambia as the destination to be. We have also employed other strategies in-house or in the Gambia by way of promoting domestic tourism. As we speak, we have what is called a Tamala concept, which is to promote Gambians to be tourists in their own countries. And so, if you have been observing, you realize that we have engaged Gambian influencers, Gambian bloggers, to help us in that direction. As we speak now, even though the target is 2027 for us to make sure we have 500,000 tourists, we are able to attract, like 2024, 657 arrivals by air. We were able to also attract 422,395 by land, and we are also able to attract 18,845 tourists by sea, totaling. If you add all these totals, you have something more than even the 500,000, which is 667,897 arrivals in 2024, exceeding the target even before the 2027 set for us to bring the number of tourists of 500,000. There are a lot of things that I would have loved to say, given that tourism, as the minister said, is everybody's business. But I would not want to conclude without encouraging Gambians to promote the peace and the love Gambians are known for. And I can tell you that the peace and the love is one of the greatest assets we use to sell Destination Gambia. So I will encourage every Gambian to help in that direction in terms of promoting the peace and the love. Thank you very much. My professor, he was my professor at the University of the Gambia. Thank you. Although he's a Cisse Kunda.
is Mamadou Singate, Director General, Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute. I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to extend our appreciation for providing us this opportunity to interact with the taxpayers, to provide them with the necessary information that they need to know about our functions and our responsibilities. We at the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, as one of the satellite institutions under the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, are responsible for providing the human capacity of the destination. Now, we all know that for any industry to progress, there need to be the required human capacity. The UNWTO has projected that there will be between 3 to 6% increase on tourist arrivals post-COVID or post-COVID from 2024, 2025 to 2026. Given that GT Board had already targeted 500,000 arrivals and are able to exceed this figure in 2024, we all know that this increase in arrival goes with challenges of human capacity that the country has already started to face, given that we are trying to transform the destination not only into a tourist visiting destination, but also a regional hub for the recruitment and selection of our young people to go and perform what they do best in their country. This has already started to have a toll on our local service sector, given that a lot of hotels are now suffering to be able to get the required personnel that will be providing the necessary and needed service that we are known for as a destination. Now, this means that we have the responsibility to cover up for all the gaps that this new dimension is creating. That is to say that a lot of recruitment agencies, international recruitment agencies, are looking at the Gambia as a destination where they can equally recruit staff to work in the cruise ships, to work in the Middle East, in the various tourism and hospitality facilities that are across the country. This is a great development for us as a country because we will be exporting labor that would be able to close the unemployment gap that the government has been working very hard on. So we will provide the young people the skills that will create the opportunities for them to be employed both locally and in the international domain. So this is by no means a small task. We have been able to do this because we have the support and the needed leadership from the ministry, but also from our dynamic board of directors, among which the current Minister of Higher Education, Professor Gomez, had worked very hard to make us to be on the pedestal that we are on now. He had served as chairman of our board on 2 consecutive terms prior to his appointment as the minister. So this is a collective job that every Gambian has a part to play in. So we are calling on everybody, all on sundry, to give us the necessary support to be able to perform this very, very challenging task.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think the ministry is also, there's a very important project within the ministry. The project lead is here. We'll give you 2-3 minutes to also introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mamadou Cisse. I'm the project director for the Tourism Diversification and Resilience in the Gambia project. Now, it's only 3 minutes, and being a Cisse Kunda, I'll be very efficient, not like my colleague here, Mr. Kamara. So the minister has already said what the project does. It's to diversify and promote climate resilience of the tourism sector. But I just want to give you a quick feel of what we are doing. And I will take each one of these departments to tell you what we have been able to achieve. In terms of the ministry, we are promoting policy, and data capacity. And before the project started, it was assessed that the World Bank support will ensure that we are able to develop the tourism satellite account framework so that in about 6 years' time, after the project has closed, Gambia will be able to produce tourism satellite accounts. We need tourism satellite accounts in order to understand exactly how much tourism is contributing to GDP. I am pleased to inform this forum that during the project, we will be able to produce the first tourism satellite account under the ministry. Now, in terms of heritage and culture, this project is going to support the preservation of the Kunta Kinte Island from further damage. And we have been getting a lot of questions from the National Assembly members in terms of what are we doing about this island. As the minister mentioned, the World Bank and the government of the Gambia has already approved the feasibility study, and we are going into the full design. So before the project ends, we will be able to construct a certain kind of dikes to protect the island within the project component. Now, in terms of Gambia Tourism Board, this project is developing a 5-year comprehensive marketing strategy which we will use to promote Destination Gambia. The project also has funds set aside, over $2 million, to begin the initial phase of this implementation, which Mr. Kamara will then take on, and we expect by the end of the project, we will be able to attract visitors from non-traditional market. And so far, even the situational analysis from this report has been applauded by all the stakeholders. In fact, some of the private sector stakeholders have said that even if we implement some of the recommendations in the situational analysis, we will be taking Destination Gambia forward. Now, regarding GTHI, unfortunately, there was no component for GTHI when the project was developed. But the government of the Gambia, the Ministry of Tourism, the former minister, and the rest of the team saw that the cruise ships were taking all the young people of the Gambia after the COVID. So they discussed with the World Bank, and because of that, there was a slight tweak in the project, and we were able to support GTHI, do a comprehensive assessment, and support them with a kitchen expansion so that they will be able to have more students and run parallel programs, as well as buy equipment for them. So by the end of 2027, we expect that this project is really going to have a huge impact, because there is one final intervention, which is for the Gambians. And that one is, the minister mentioned it, the MSME support. Small businesses, you are able to access business incubation, you are able to access support through 15 business development managers that we have hired for 3 years to support small businesses in tourism, prepare them, and then give them a grant so that they will be able to grow. So this project is here to ensure that tourism develops. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the final part of the program. But before I proceed, I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Kamara, the President's Cybersecurity Advisor. Mr. Kamara, thank you for coming, and also thank you for your continued support of this program. Now, this is very interesting. Obviously, we've seen a boom in the tourism industry recently. We've seen that the Scandinavians are back with the coming of Apollo. I think the Scandinavians were the first tour operators. Bertil Harding Highway is named after a Swedish. I think he was the first person to take Swedish tourists to Sweden at that time. I have no doubt that we will achieve our goal, but I think you should support the GTHI because the tourism value chain is important. The labor policy promises to provide 150,000 jobs, particularly for young people. And I think that every 10 tourists creates one job. If we support them, I think we can be able to achieve, if we have not even achieved it yet, because I think currently the value chain is really helping, particularly support with the MSMEs is very important. So now, it's time for us to ask the relevant questions, and you will get the right answers from the minister and his team. We'll take two from this end, One from here and one there. We're going back and forth. So 2 at a time. We'll start with Mr. Esa Jalo from JRTS. Then we'll go on the other side. Keep your questions short. Ask them in the local languages, please. But if you ask in the local languages, you'll get your response in the local languages. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't think it's going to be short. I have to give it a bit of a context. Good evening, everyone. And I would want to acknowledge the presence of Jali Matar. I am speaking here as the interim president of the Collecting Society of the Gambia.
What?
The Collecting Society of the Gambia. Jali Matar has been playing here as one of the few Halam players in the country. We remember the past actors like Solo Kani, Jack Bajangom, the creative sector I'm talking about here. Well, the Copyright Act has been in place since 2004.
Copyright Act.
The Copyright Act. And that is what established the Collecting Society of the Gambia. And the mandate of the Collecting Society of the Gambia is to collect royalties on behalf of artists, content creators. It's 21 years today, nothing has been done. And our members are not very much impressed with that. I would like to ask the minister. Probably we've never met, but probably we should meet and talk about this more. The actors, the filmmakers, and the musicians are creating a lot of content online and offline. And it is important that they are paid for what they work for. Currently, they are investing a lot of money in the creative art industry. For example, the amount of money they are spending even to stage shows, for example, to hire QCity or to stage a show, a stage alone, sound system is a lot of money. And now they are being tasked by GRA when they stage shows.
And the question?
And the question is, why don't we still have seed money for the Collecting Society to establish a secretariat to be able to collect royalties on behalf of artists?
Thank you. From that end, we'll come to you. We'll just get one more question, then we'll come back to the answers. Anyone from that end? If no, we'll come back here. Yes. Name and then your question, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, take a permission from my DG, Mr. Sigate. Permission granted. Thank you. My name is Ibrahim MJ. I'm the Placement and Counseling Officer from GTHI. The first question I asked is for the Minister. He made mention of a very important point.
It's one question?
Yes, it's going to be one question, which I'm very much interested. That is the training hotel school for our students. Presently, we are facing challenges on placement because we all know we are relying on hotels. And not all of the hotels are taking students from GTHI. So we want this GT bodies here. I know we will attack them. And let them concentrate our support, our placement program.
What is the question?
The question is, when is this hotel going to be established?
Thank you very much. However, now you can...
Yeah, thank you. Well, no, bul worry, dinaa la jox affaire bi. Waaw, dinaa la jox affaire bi, bul worry. Yeah, because you see, my response to the first question is this. I will like to be given the chance to look into it in details. But then the specific response, I think Hasum can give you his side, but if it is a concern that you are raising, I would like to have time to really dive into it, to understand what are the key issues, why is it a problem, and what we can do to address the problem. So I leave Hasum to elaborate on that, and then before we get to the next one.
President, Copyright Collecting Society of the Gambia, I'm going to be very, very courteous in my reply towards you. The Copyright Act was enacted in 2004, and NCAC became the administrator. So there are two parts. One part is copyright administration, like you register works, artists come to the office. I mean, you have your cassette, your book, your video, you register it so that, it becomes your private property. The second part of the act is the collecting society, which is meant to be a body corporate, just like, a private, body that has a board, in which you are the president, and the board consists of the, artistic associations like Music Union, like Writers Association, film producers, and so on. And all these associations are on. So, what have we done? We have brought together the artists, and they have created the board. And you are the president for the past 3 years, and you have done very well. You have just returned from Zimbabwe, in your own, effort to seek international support. And what we have done also at our side is to continue to work on the legal framework. The outgoing minister, because before he left, he signed into law, or he promulgated the regulations, the copyright regulations. Like if a radio station plays, one track for 80 seconds, how much you should pay. So everything has been signed and is now in regulation. Now, therefore, the good news is that on the 25th, the Honorable Minister will be launching the YEP2 project. And a cardinal pillar of that project is to support the collecting society so that Gambian musicians, writers, artists will start to enjoy royalties from radio stations, hotels, and even taxis. Okay? So on the 25th, I think you have got your invitation, and well, I will make sure you get it. And point number 3 in the project is IP, okay? And it's all about solving this 21-year-old problem of Gambian artists not enjoying royalties. Even the universities, professor, they will have a ledger. Every book they photocopy, they'll pay royalties, okay? The drivers union, is in the picture. Taxis, you play, Jalibakwai's music. Either you paid when you are getting your license, and then it's all given to the CSG to distribute, to the musicians, the hotels. Maybe when GT board is giving a license, they pay extra amount for copyright. So we hope from the 25th, on Tuesday, things will move faster on this. So I want to thank, the artists for their patience. We are all artists, but I hope in the coming months, money will start flowing into this. Thank you.
Maybe
thank you. The next.
No, hold on. Yeah. Just to I just want to have the Mr. Jallo. In addition to what he has said, I'm giving you the opportunity after this to elaborate. What are your key issues? You can write, and then we can then take it up from there. Okay? And then in partnership with NCAC, whatever we need to do as a ministry, we will endeavor to do it.
Thank you.
So about the hotel, what's it called? Is the training hotel. I think this is something which Director Singate raised following his return from Canary Island. I think it's an excellent idea, so that your students can have in-house demonstration. We are working on it. When the Spanish foreign minister visited here, these are one of the things that we mentioned to him, and I believe that subsequent to that, I had a meeting, myself and Singate. We went to see the Spanish charge d'affaires, and we have written, a formal letter to that effect. That's one route. The other route is we have asked Mr. Singate to try to prepare a concept note, so that we can parallelly look for other routes that could fund this, because this space is there at the institute. So be rest assured that we will try. We'll do it our best shot. Maybe the DG wants to just expand on it.
Yes, I just wanted to say that
just in the short time, actually, the TRRC, the former TRRC, which is the Dunes, was actually offered to the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, who later on assigned it to the GT board so that we can partner with whoever is an investor to invest in the hotel, bring it to standard, and that it can be used as a training hotel. We and the GT board, the GTHI DG had visited the hotel, and the manager currently had some discussion with us, and he's very much willing to make sure that the hotel is used as a training hotel in the short term, until such time that we are able to get an appropriate place to use as a training hotel for the GTHI. I think that's what I wanted to contribute.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Go ahead.
In addition to the various interventions, in addition to the various interventions, I think our colleague is worried because this year it is interesting to also inform this gathering that we have increased our intake by 50% due to the demand of, due to the demand of the industry. Because we know there is a high rate of attrition in the sector by the international recruitment agencies. So this has posed a little bit of challenge in terms of student placement. But like the Honorable Minister rightly mentioned, and also the PS in her deliberation mentioned that as a policy engagement at the ministry, they are profiling projects that are going to be given priority, and I can assure you that the trading hotel is a priority in that project profiling under the Ministry of Tourism. We are currently talking to a lot of development partners, including the Spanish government. The Spanish government, by the way, in 2011 invested 2.7 million in the institute. And we are looking at the second phase. That was just the first phase. We are now looking at the second phase of bringing up a training hotel with a capacity of between 25 to 30 bedrooms that could also serve as a practical ground for our students. That will allow us to be able to increase the numbers as we wish.
Thank you very much. Next round of questions. We'll take from the back. The lady sitting at the back. We'll come back to this. Quickly, please.
Yes, good evening to you all. I'm Ludimilda da Silva, the Welfare and Culture Minister, University of the Gambia Students' Union. My question goes to the Honorable Minister. What plans do you have for the students studying tourism and hospitality in the University of the Gambia under the School of Business? You will realize that a BSc holder to fit in the market of tourism and hospitality is a problem with your BSc. So do you have a plan of signing an MOU for internship for the students of the University of the Gambia to fit in the job market?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Edward Francis Dalia. I'm a journalist working for Askambi Media. Yeah, I would like to know whether tourism arrival exclude Gambian diaspora. Okay, thank you.
Hello, Minister.
Wait, let me just complete the question. No.
Oh.
No.
How many questions do you have?
Yes, one. I will repeat it again.
Okay.
I would like to know whether tourism arrival exclude the Gambian diaspora coming and also other Gambians returning. And I would like to know also if the GT board have implemented the petition of the National Assembly.
Hello, thank you.
Resolution rather of the National Assembly with regards to the petition of the GT board staffs.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer the last question. The petition is not addressed to GT board. The petition from the National Assembly is addressed to the ministry as the entry to the executive. And the ministry has seek for legal advice from the Ministry of Justice and then have requested GT board to provide its response to the resolutions. The ministry itself will make its points of view. Then I will take the matter to cabinet. And it is at that point, if cabinet so decides on any of the resolutions, then that's the time the implementation will take place, because the resolution is coming from one arm of government and going to another arm of government. Just the way that the committee did their work and took it to the plenary, and the report was approved and the resolution adopted, is the same way that we also as a ministry need to go to our plenary, and our plenary is the cabinet. And once the cabinet then so decides, then that is what we will do. In terms of whether the tourism excludes the Gambians, I will leave DG to respond. On the first, you see, we are all co-owners of the ministry, of the agencies or the institutions under the ministry. And I share the view that every Gambian, if there is a space, the agencies and the ministries should accommodate for people to have internship. And this is something that I strongly believe, and it is something that I practice in any ministry that I go. Now, with internship, the opportunities are there. That's why we are trying to develop the tourism sector, expand it, diversify it, so that people with skills will be able to will be employable, will have a chance to be employed in the sector. That's what I have to say.
Yes, Honorable Minister, I just wanted to throw more light on that one. Personally, I was one of the first students of the school, of the tourism and hospitality program that started, that was started by the University of the Gambia under the School of Public Health, Public Business, Public and Business Administration. Yes, what usually we learn in the class does not actually mean that we have to look for employment to be able to excel. I think we are also taught, apart from seeking for employment by someone, I think we can also do our own businesses. If we are looking for employment at least we are taught in the class as to how we can start our own businesses. This is just an advice, but our minister has already answered the other part. On the question whether Gambians are part of the numbers that we mentioned as the arrivals, our source markets are divided into traditional and non-traditional, and Gambians are under the non-traditional source markets. And as per the UNWTO recommendation, which is United Nations Tourism now, they recommended that Gambians should be added as the numbers, as part of the arrival numbers in our data. So that is the answer. Yes, Gambians are part of the arrival numbers that we record as arrivals to destination Gambia.
Thank you. Yes, next set of questions. We'll start with Youth here. Can we get the mic over here, please?
jërëjëf bu baax a baax salaamaaleykum wa rahmatullah maa ngi tudd Modou Lamine Diouf maa ngi liggéeyal Hilltop FM radio dinaa ñëwaat si nombre si waaye dinaa force tamit wax ne maa ngi rafetlu liggéey bi bu baax a baax gis nañ bi ci léegi nu mu setee to be honest because dama dee wóor man tamit a bit waaye si nombre si bëggoon naa fa dellu si because même si yàlla honorable Badara Diouf moom doon wax ne léegi soo ñëwee jënd fi dara soo dellu si waatee doo gisaat loo jënd because daanaka li nga fi fekkoon moom nga fi fekk soo bëgg naa xam ndax nombre si nga wax noonu ne over 500,000 plus register nañ leen suñ ko doon correspond ak koom-koom bi naka la mel nombre bi nit ngeen target bi ndax loolu translate na si wàllum koom-koom bëggoon naa xam loolu bëgg naa xam tam challenge si lan la si wàllum domestic tourism because gis nañ ne am nañ very good ecotourism sites yoo xamante ne ñu ngi si country bi. What are the challenges?
Okay. Thank you. On that side, do we have anyone from that side? Yes.
Yeah, good evening. I am Musaba from the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute. I am there as the Records and ICT officer. As I just learned from the Honorable Minister, saying that tourism is everyone's business and culture actually tells who you are. Now, what is the plan of the Honorable Minister in trying to decentralize tourism to local Gambians? Because if you look at tourism, it's much situated within the Greater Banjul area. If you go as far as CRR, their tourism is not much practiced there. And then the type of food that they cook around that area, how are we going to integrate and add to capacitize, like the training at GTHI, trying to bring those type of foods that we have around, capacitize the trainers, and then inculcate it part of our knowledge. What is the support of the...
Thank you. Hello, Minister.
On the arrivals and the economic benefit, I'll allow...
Hello, Minister. His question is in Wolof, so we'll answer.
Okay. So question B, if he arrivals at corresponding living dinajo in terms of the economic benefit, maybe PS or DG, but a very challenging key domestic tourism bi lolu nga lajje. Well, it's all about investment. Nit ñi ci seen bopp tamit dañ war a dem duga gis réew mi. The challenge is, one of it is accommodation, good accommodations. Waaye soo seetee fi mu nekk nii ñu ngi support the construction of ecologies and hotels in the interior of the country. And tourism is one of the priority sectors where incentives are given by GAIPA. So loolu dina dimbale ñi nga xam ne ñoo bëgg pour def investment boobu. Recently, li mën a wax nii rek, I think two months ago, the Bridge Hotel was opened in Pakamindeng. It's a top of the range facility to encourage people. About APSCA, you look at APSCA, because we're trying to encourage. APSCA, Bintang Bonong. Even right now, Lisisewa, MSME, you look at Fitamit, Nakala to the Tembaba camp. All of these facilities are being supported under the diversification project. Could you diversify the product? I mean, we have a beautiful country, and it's to encourage, and will continue to encourage investors. Like right now in Kaur, Discovery Tours have constructed an eco-lodge. In there, also good facilities for people to be able to go into the country, and also, explore heritage and cultural nature tourism. So the guy from GTHI was diversification of the project, decentralization of tourism. And yes, we have regional offices, to encourage, this diversification or decentralization. Now, is that enough? Yeah, it's work in progress. We recognize that, every corner of the country need to feel and be part of that tourism, everybody's business. So we're doing our best in terms of building the infrastructure, in terms of not only the tourism infrastructure, but also tourism-related infrastructure. Like you go to Wasu and all these other places, Mungo Park, etc., so that these are, heritage sites that could be attractive. the Baboon Island and all these areas, navigating through the River Gambia, majestic River Gambia, which we can use and build ecologies along the River Gambia so that people can have cruises and spend the night in these, and build, the communities. Because we're trying to not use the top-down approach, but we are trying to involve the communities to help us work with the communities to sensitize them to develop the product at that level. Seba?
Thank you.
Yeah, so,
just to answer your question quickly, okay. 500,000 arrivals in our Aga going to see 500,000. It's still a target that has not been met. But as a sector, we feel we are on track in meeting the 500,000 eventually. Well, the last time it was close to it. Why better hit a book, but he's saying Rombanenko, so air arrivals. Why I'm not include land at sea arrivals, of course, the Nenko hit. Why we were very much focused on air arrivals all this while. Income being generated as a country, it's a survey for the water conduct. It's quite expensive to be as accurate as possible, and so that the guest figures. Project we recently conducted a survey where was trying to measure the sort of income or the amount of expenditure that each tourist makes in every visit, or at least per night. And figures we can provide you with that data, which of course periodically update to make sure you are getting the right data in terms of income. That's why Kitam had the issue of the TSA, Tourism Satellite Account, because income of what tourism brings to a country cannot be measured in the absence of a tourism satellite account. The satellite account bobu more large of variables nga xamne mom nga soxla pour input ko ci satellite account bi dina la wax tourism's contribution to GDP, dina la wax tourism's contribution to the economy generally, how much each of the various sectors that participate in tourism also receive in terms of income, and so many other measures that could be provided.
Okay.
On the expansion of GTHI facilities up country or the tourism sector generally, you mentioned the issue of capacity, the lack of capacity in up-country facilities. This is happening because, unfortunately, we had the opportunity of GTHI expanding to Farafenye and Janjambure. I'm sure you're aware of it, which was a great achievement for us. It has been very expensive maintaining those two expansion or expanded facilities or annexes, we call it, of GTHI. But as you are aware, these annexes were established to probably create the opportunity for up-country human capacity building for up-country facilities that exist within the tourism sector. And the GTHI has registered so much progress, and we have achieved a lot during this period. A lot of training was done. At times, catering facilities also are provided up-country. And it has really changed the dynamics of what has been happening in the hinterland in terms of capacity building, providing specialized services to tourism facility providers of country. So
thank you.
Two annexes.
Thank you.
What I just wanted to share.
We'll take the final round of questions only. The final round, one from this end. Do we have anyone from that end? One from this end and one from this end. We don't have time. Just one from that next week.
Yes, thank you very much. All right. Good evening. I am Lamin Sanyang. I'm a student at the University of the Gambia, School of Journalism and Digital Media. My question is directed to the Minister. Recently, I've watched a documentary on YouTube, and it was very, very concerning. So, in this documentary, it portrayed the Gambia as a preferred traditional destination for sex, a preferred traditional destination for sex tourism amongst all the women in the Western countries. And it portrayed the Gambian youths in a very, very negative light. So I want to know if you, as the Minister, are aware of this. If yes, what's your opinion on that? If no, are you trying to, if you are aware of it, are you trying to make any efforts to counter such kind of information? Because I believe it is putting our country in a very, very negative light, especially in the sex.
Question is clear, very clear. Thank you. Next, final question.
Well, good evening. My name is Awamane. I work as a reporter at GRTS. My question is directed to the project coordinator of the Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project. You've mentioned that the project will look at the Kunta Kinte Island and also other heritage places in the country. But you've not mentioned if you have deployed a team to the island to see the level of damage at the island, and also when will work commence on the island, and the kind of work you want to do there for the damage at the island, and also other heritage places.
Thank you very much. Final question from you, and then we'll hand over. Final question. Yes, final. I have 2 questions myself.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, Honorable Minister. Part of the discussion from the peers down to the Minister, you would see repeatedly in your strategy talking about investment. And part of the reaction schools, if you look at it, one of the major problems when it comes to investment, more especially in foreign investment or private partnership, there is always a question of inclusion and pro-tourism. So in this, we might sometimes bypass the communities in the activity because of the foreign interest. Do you have a strategy to mitigate this?
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Minister. I think we have 3 questions.
Yeah, let me start with the last, and I'll allow peers to expand on it. Of course, anything that we do, we're sensitive to the communities. And our strategy is to be inclusive, in all kinds of investments that we are doing in the tourism sector. The negativism in the media, you can never solve it, because as everybody used to say, people in your hamne, sen holi dafa ñuul be nga hamne, soy fecce ci ndox sax dañoo ne yaa ngi leen a pundal. Now, what we do is to continue to do the best for the country. Strive, promote Destination Gambia by showing what is good about the Gambia. And that's our job. Now, people that do things and want to, have negative vibes for the country, I'm going to waste my time on that. But we will put all our efforts in trying to showcase the good thing that this country has. And we will continue to do that as a ministry and as a sector.
Thank you.
In terms of, the Kunta Kinte, as the lady said, he will expand on it. But the issue is, Kunta Kinte right now was consumed by the sea and the effect of climate change. What we are doing is we are going to reinforce and restore the area. And that is work that is going to do. It's not theory. It's physical work, which the consultant, as he says, and this consultant is a reputable, international reputable consultant of high standing, which is Royal Haskoning, who has done and who is doing the studies. And they have done a feasibility study, and now the detailed design is being done. They will have a tender document, and according to the timeline, this project will be completed before the closure of this of the diversification, and resilience project. So this is what we are doing now, and this is that side. I don't think the director talked about other heritage side. No, we talked about Kunta Kinte, but other heritage sites, will be through the other project that we are doing, which is the Youth Employment Project. We'll try to work with the PS who is the chair of the project steering committee to try and intervene in those areas.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I think you've answered the Kunta Kinte Island question. Just to assure you that in this new era that we are in, every single project that you see prior to being implemented must be very environmentally conscious, must have gender balance within or the scope of attention also given to it, as well as what is called community or stakeholder engagement studies done. So these are things that every single project that you see under tourism has vigorously engaged stakeholders as well as environmental, the environment safeguards achieved,
Thank you.
as well as the issue of gender assessments also done.
Thank you very much.
We are on track with
Haruna,
those issues very much.
Thank you. Haruna, I know we're out of time. I have two quick questions. One for Mr. Hasum Sise, one for Mr. Singate. Just yes or no. Hasum Sise. One question for you quickly. The Youth Empowerment Program, will we see the promotion of Gambian painting, like having an art exhibition where Gambian painting is exhibited and sold at auction? Will we see that in the Youth Empowerment Program?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Singate, the GTHI, do they train tourist guides as well? Like those who go around and showing tourists different destinations?
One of the project components of the TDR is curriculum development. And we have secured the services through the project of a consultant who has developed a curriculum on tour guiding. So from the next academic year, we will start to provide trainings on tour guiding.
Thank you very much. Now we are about to round up for this episode of the Mansa Kunda. But before Halam, may ñu tuti Halam, su boba ñu mëna bëgge tuti.
Yep.
jërëjëf Jali xalam bi neex na Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this week's Mansa Kunda. I thank you all, thank the media, the press, those who are here present with us today, the ministers, advisors, everyone, senior government officials, and Haruna Drame, thank you very much for your support. And then thank you, Honorable Minister of Tourism and Culture, Ms. Honorable Abdou Diop, you and your entire team. Thank you very much for your support. Until we come your way again, after Ramadan, I wish you all a pleasant weekend. Thank you.